Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Andreas Diaz. Me and Will are back again for another Marvel Plus talk. Today, we're discussing The Incredible Hulk to honor the late and great William Hurt. Fortunately, he passed away last week with, I think, prostate cancer, which was sad to hear. And, of course, my good goings to his family. So, Will, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, pretty. We got what 2 more weeks until Moon Knight, which is
hmm
exciting. We got the teaser trailer for Miss Marvel, and we
hmm
now kind of get the confirmation of the release date, which is good. And so it's coming right after Moon Knight, which is great.
Yeah.
And yeah, just pretty. I'm just excited to get to December. I think that's my main goal now. Oh my god, this whole week. I think before we recorded, like I forgot to mention, like the whole week, the weather has been just on and off, just awful.
hmm
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. And my allergies are insane right now.
Ugh, oh my god. Oh boy, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't like my allergies. It's I, yeah, what are you gonna say? Like it's worse for me in the summer with the pollen
Mm.
gets kicked in. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with.
Yeah.
So today we're discussing the Incredible Hulk, which is kind of cool. We're almost finished with phase one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The only two movies we have left is the first Iron Man film and the Avengers. So that's pretty exciting. And
Yeah.
man, I'm excited to talk about those two later down the road. So what was your what's your relationship with the Incredible Hulk? What's your overall thoughts on this film?
Um, I mean, it's the only MCU movie that I haven't seen in theaters.
Yes, I did. Yes, you mentioned that.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I just wasn't interested in it when it originally came out. I wasn't like as big of a Marvel fan back then. Um, yeah. Um, I don't know. It's an all right movie. I rewatched it this week and I liked it more than I remembered liking it. But
Huh. Oh man,
um,
it's like Superman Returns. Like there's certain aspects I like of it, and then
mhm,
there's other parts I don't like about it. So
yeah,
that's how I usually feel, or everyone feels like with this film.
yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like the big CGI third act. Like I'm just tired of
Oh
it after seeing it all the time. And like, there's really no other way to end a Hulk movie than have two big guys punching each other. So
yeah. Um, that's kind of interesting you're saying that because I I like the third act because it's like
I
I think
yeah,
um um
I don't want to say that it's like I hate it completely and there's nothing that I like about it. Like
mhm.
I have feelings. I know that it's cool when he uses the cop car as boxing gloves. I just
Yes.
I I get tired of seeing like CGI monsters hitting each other for 15 minutes.
Yeah. No, I understand. Um, I, I think it's I think like I want to kind of getting back from like the production.
hmm
Like, this film is very like someone from podcast mentioned very reactionary from what happened with Ang Lee's Hulk
hmm
that we discussed like a month ago. Um, or 2 months, whatever, but like this film is pretty much the anti like Ang Lee Hawk film where we're getting enough action and a bit more humor around here
hmm
this time around compared
Yeah,
of the Ang Lee Hawk, right?
yeah. I should say I liked it a lot more than the Ang Lee Folk movie.
Oh yeah, I mean I
Yeah,
enjoyed this more than the Only Hulk
yeah.
film. But then my problem with this, and this is a good way to summarize this film, just like the Only Hulk, this film did the same thing, but differently, is that it continues that somber tone that we got
Hmm.
from the Hulk, but here it made sense because they were trying to replicate the Incredible Hulk TV show, but I feel like they like and discussing with the MCU, this is not the identity that the MCU kind of took because they took more where the first Iron Man film took. So
Hmm.
you know, so that's why I this film didn't exceed as well. But there's other reasons why. So um, but yeah, I just want to get into like the casting. What do you think about Edward Norton as the Hulk slash Bruce Banner?
I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but
Yeah,
I think he makes a good Bruce Banner. Um, it depends on like how you want to characterize him,
yeah,
but I kind of like the like small, skinny guy turns into the Hulk. Um,
hmm. Yeah. He's kind of like the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, like
yeah,
Banner a little bit.
yeah, it reminds me of that a lot. Um, I
Hmm.
think I prefer Ruffalo,
Oh yeah,
but
I mean from the Avengers until Thor Ragnarok. uh, uh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. I There's things I like about um how you say Edward Norton. I think he really has like he has that rage and kind of anger you do see,
yes, yeah,
which is kind of cool. But then they don't do that in this film. Like you don't see that kind of primal fear or like American History X kind of Edward Norton
hmm,
for like he's perfect for the Hulk, but they don't do that. He's doing more like the soft spoken Bruce Banner,
yeah,
where Rothfield you really saw like with the first introduction of him, talking to Black Widow, and like that whole scene completely cut off what Banner is as a person, and
mm,
I just don't think this film doesn't help you understand the world of the Hulk because they're skipping the origin. I mean, which I like,
yeah,
but then
I was fine with that.
yeah, I was fine with that, but then I I, I don't know, like I feel like it was more like it had the Superman Returns problem where was it a reboot or a sequel to the Ainley Hulk because they
Hmm.
did pick up certain things about it, like he's in South America. I mean, he's in Brazil, and what was the last thing you remember from the Ainley Hulk is like he was in South America
Hmm.
towards the end of the film. And so by the way, I really dug the opening credits of The
Yeah,
Incredible Hulk. That's one of my favorite things about this film. And I, I always wish the superior films took that and like apply that to the origin story for every character, you know?
yeah, at least the ones that like are general knowledge. Like everyone knows the origin stories of
Hmm.
the Hulk, Batman, and Spider-Man,
Yeah,
Superman. You don't need to retell those every time you do a reboot.
yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
it was really efficient uh, in this
yeah.
movie.
You mentioned Spider-Man. You know what? I mean, Spider-Man 2 kind of did that. They did it with a class, with having Alice Rock's paintings, like you know, to like retell the Spider-Man film.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's that. I mean, yeah. I think you can done this with other characters like Doctor Strange. I mean, just
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
it's
like the general public, like the movie going audience, didn't really know who Doctor Strange was. So I
mm,
think it makes sense to
yeah, that's true.
show it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
like literally everyone knows, like, yeah, Batman's parents were murdered in an alley, or Spider-Man got bitten by a
it's,
spider and then
yeah.
his uncle died. Like you don't need to put that in every movie.
I mean, All right. First off, I'm a big Batman fan, and we don't ever show, I mean, yes, we show the Wayne's death maybe a couple of times here and there,
Oh,
but
okay.
you know,
It's every movie.
every movie. What are you talking about?
It
yes,
wasn't in the new one, which was great. I loved that. But
yeah.
literally, let's see. We've seen it. We saw it in
I mean, we saw
Batman Begins. We saw it in Batman versus Superman. We saw it in Joker.
Joker. I mean, yeah, but I, I mean, with Joker, with Batman, you mentioned the opening credits. I like it in Batman v Superman where we're just we're getting rid of the whole, death of the Waynes right away in that film,
Yeah,
for Ben.
you didn't have to cover it at all, is what I'm saying, because everyone already knows that it happened.
Yeah. Or you can, I don't like how he he's paused to see the pearls and we have the slow motion.
Yeah, everyone does the same shot with the slow motion pearl necklace breaking. Everyone already knows the story. You don't have to retell it every time there's a new Batman movie. Which again, I loved the new one. I was very happy that they didn't do that. They just took it as a given that the audience knew who Batman was and why he was Batman.
Yes, I agree. Matt Reeves did a really good job of covering that. Or the Lego Batman movie did that as well. They didn't show you the death of the Waynes in Lego form, but
and those are my two favorite Batman movies.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I'm excited to talk about our rankings, brief rankings, because I have the Lego Batman movie as second. Anyway, I think this totally explains why the Incredible Hulk is totally forgettable. Let's rein it back in.
Oh, yeah.
So you see, right, just now, we're just so this film just lacks engagement and just overall just pulling you in for this character's film.
Mm-hmm.
Where the first Iron Man film did that so well in May. And I just don't think this film I like serious films and dark films, but you need to 100% commit to that. And I think this film doesn't do that because the reasons I really love the Avengers still is because it gives me the Hulk that I like being the hero. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate, the Frankenstein monster, the, Black Lagoon kind of type of Hulk, but you need to commit to that. And I don't think this film does that well. And, and it's at times it's very, it has that downbeat kind of feel to it, and then that's now you want for your summer blockbuster. And I think that's what is kind of been the problem with the Hulk films, and that's why we haven't gotten another one, unfortunately. It's just they didn't get this second Hulk film right yet again, which is
that sad. Universal owns the distribution rights.
Yes, which we'll get into that. But yeah, I guess let's get into General Ross. Because that's the reason we picked this film. Unfortunately, we mentioned in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 5 talk, and now, the passing of William Hurt was very sad. And I mentioned I think he was my favorite General Ross actor in the role. I think he was way better than Sam Elliott. It kind of expanded upon it. I think this film did a good job of depicting the Ross character, and I did appreciate his relation with Betty. That's probably the best thing about this film. But we didn't focus it enough in this film. But I was hoping maybe we can have more of it in the sequels, but obviously we didn't do that. But kind of expand your opinion from last week. What's your feelings with Ross in this film, and were you happy that it was better than Sam Elliott from Stanley Hulk.
Yeah, no, I thought he did a really good job of like serving as the film's antagonist.
Mhm.
And like you never get the sense that he's like evil. He's just doing like what he thinks is the best for uh like the American government.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I liked his relationship with Betty. Because it's like obvious that he's doing like everything in his power to protect her, and like that's always the motivation.
yeah.
But uh yeah.
Yeah, and it's surprising, he's the only character from this movie to come back, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which is like it's very fascinating that they chose him. And I did like uh he made the one joke when he meets was it Doc Salmon in the
Mm-hmm.
film, and I think I like his reply, like, how she find these guys. That was a funny joke that the Ross character did when he was speaking out the Beatty's
Mm-hmm.
stuff
Yeah,
after
I
the
really liked that moment for
yeah.
Doc Samson.
Yeah, and I think this is the first movie that like really did like the Easter eggs that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
catch on. Like, of course, I mean, you got the Louis Frankel cameo and with the
Mm-hmm.
pizza. I always love that part.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the teacher from the new Spider-Man films, isn't there. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
see him very
He's a
briefly.
student at the college.
Yes. Um, yeah. Are they in Boston or like in New York? Like, I'm trying to remember
Um,
what university was that one?
I
Um,
mean, it's a fictional one.
oh,
It's called Culver University, but I'm trying to remember what it's based on.
yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm kind of curious. Let me see. Culver. Okay. Oh, okay. Marvel database. This will be good. Okay. Culver University. Yeah, it's a um.
Mm-hmm.
It's a university sit in the Willowdale, Virginia, with another campus at West Virginia. That's what it say. It doesn't say if it's fake or not. So, or I mean, yeah, it's fake.
Well, when I Googled it, the top result was the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki. So I think that's
Okay.
okay. There is a real one, but
Okay.
it's not.
Like it's not famous as like the Berkeley College or like
Yeah.
Fair
It's,
Fair what's John's college now? Fairlawn or Fair what's that university he went to? Oh my god. Anyway, this is not John's moment to shine. Anyway. um but yes, I think Ross was very good. You say that he is the antagonist here. Let's get into that because one of the things that I like about this film that I'm so disappointed the MCU didn't do was the Abomination and the Leader.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we
I mean,
can.
they could bring them back.
Yeah, I mean we're getting the
Abomination back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we did get the Abomination and Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to be in She-Hulk.
Yes, very true. And She-Hulk. In this film, they didn't do Jennifer Walters in this film, or it's funny we didn't set her up or like reference her throughout, Banner's tender in the MCU, which is weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no like passing reference to a cousin.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's always like that with characters when because like we never discuss extended family for some reason in these comics, or we kind of like ignore them because of like the mantra for characters. Like Superman is a good example of that. Like he had Supergirl as his cousin, but because we wanted to keep the mantra, the last son of Krypton, it's like we had to avoid that character in the Phantom Zone villains, and I just don't get that. Like I always liked the extended family. in these characters. But anyway, I mean, you got the Abomination, the leader, well-known Hulk villains. I think it was a good decision to use that. I like the Abomination as a villain, but again, it starts that trend of the MCU, like similar villain, like they're like the opposite of the
villain
hero.
Has the same powers, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and just looking back, it just the design of the Abomination is awful. Like I get
I liked the redesign in Shang-Chi.
Oh my god. When I saw the trailer for Shang-Chi when it was coming out, I was like geeking out that he had the fins as the ears from the comics. I was like, oh my god, they got it right. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was so happy. That's why I went to that movie twice. That's why. Yeah, but this movie was just like I mean, I didn't mind the design at the time, but now looking back at it, it's Gollum meets what is it? Gollum meets what, the turtles from the Michael Bay films, like it's like that.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's just wrong design. I feel like they could have done something more unique, honestly. What do you think about Tim Roth's performance as the Abomination and then his character design?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Tim Roth. He's a good actor. I thought his performance as Blonsky was really good.
Yeah.
One critique I have of like the Abomination and Hulk designs from this movie is they don't really look like the actors that much.
Oh yes, I don't mind that. I don't know if they couldn't pull it off this time, right? Like because of the technology. I just feel like that's why they didn't do it in this film.
I guess. I mean, this is only like a year before Avatar. Like,
oh yes. Oh, then never mind. Because I mean, like you see Zoe Saldana as the blue Navi.
Yeah, it's like clearly.
Like her, and then who was the main character from Avatar? Like Sam Morton's character, like
Jake Sully. Jake Sullivan, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that.
Yeah, how do you know his name?
I haven't seen that movie in
my god.
probably a decade.
Oh wow. Oh my god, yeah. I think the same for me. Yeah, it's been a while. Since 2009.
It's coming out this year.
Oh my god, the sequel. I'm not gonna believe it is coming out. I think this is a lie. It's just an April Fool's joke. Yes. I mean, if he can pull off Aliens and Terminator 2 for Avatar 2, and then I'll be happy to see it.
Yeah, has he ever failed?
Nope. I like his films.
Yeah, I can't think of. Yeah, and he's been really really about this for over a decade. I think it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened with Terminator 2 and Aliens. It's been a couple of years between their movies, so I mean, it's just I think because out of the franchises, why this franchise? Because I want to see him back in either the Aliens franchise or the Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, again, forgettable movie. The Hulk. Yeah, I love Tim Rothman. Yeah, Tim Roth. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tim Rothman. That's the chairman from Fox and now Sony. Tim Roth, great actor. Love him in Pulp Fiction and Hateful Eight. He's great in there. I think he was a acceptable villain. There's something about it that just didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't like when the MCU don't put their thought with the villain, and they clearly should have gone with the leader as the villain for this film.
Yeah, I think that brain versus brawn conflict is more interesting than just two big guys fighting each other.
Yeah. Um, because I mean, you can reinvent the leader and like give
Mm-hmm.
him, excuse me, like abilities, like telepath abilities, or like something we haven't seen in a superhero film at that point,
Mm-hmm.
in time. Um, and yeah, I mean, uh, uh, picking back with the Abomination, I liked the third act, but I kind of wish we had more of it in the film because you just got like the first Hulk out scene in a factory, which is dark. Like this film feels more TV. Like I don't like
Mm-hmm.
this film feels way too much like a TV film. Where like the first Iron Man film feels like a film, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, I mean I know the Ironmonger is the same thing, but like at least that is more cinematic because you're like I didn't see at the time like you know hero versus villain in a road, like in a busy street, I didn't see that in any of the superhero films at that point. So it was at least interesting there, and here it was just like just hulking out in a dark in a factory in Brazil. It's like you don't see good shots of the Hulk.
Yeah,
Um, and
I think that's definitely like a limit of the CGI at the
yeah,
time, or at least the CGI on their budget at the time.
what was weird? What was weird about that? It's more expensive than the first Iron Man film. Like,
Yeah,
um,
that makes sense to me because you have to like animate the Hulk and
yeah,
Abomination.
I get that, but I just like Superman Returns, where's the money go? Like, where's
Mhm.
the money? That's the thing.
Edward Norton was probably more expensive than Robert Downey Jr. too.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, oh yeah, at that point, yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
Robert, unfortunately, just like he was a risky at that time.
yeah. Like I think Terrence Howard was paid more than him for the first Iron Man movie.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
that's why there was a problem when
yeah,
Iron Man 2.
yeah. Because they wanted to pay Robert Downey Jr. more than him, and he got upset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I mean, it's very
and he
unclear. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, look, Robert deserved it, I think, because he was
Oh,
going to be,
absolutely. Yeah. I
I
mean, he
mean,
was the star of the film.
yes, exactly. But yeah, yeah. So I mean, the action scenes were okay, like nothing spectacular. I mean, besides the boxing, you know,
Mhm.
car hand, and then
Yeah, that was cool.
yeah, that was cool. And then my favorite was when he did the Hulk's clap that he
Hmm.
does. Like that was a
Yeah.
big deal for me. I was like, oh, he did that. But the big one for me was him talking. This is like before the third Thor film where he was like more talking.
Hmm.
Um, him saying Hulk smash was a big deal for me.
Hmm.
I was like, I did not believe we did that, and we did. It was so like a big moment for me to hear Hulk say Hulk smash. So that was a big deal seeing Hulk talk because he didn't talk at all in the Anley Hulk. Um, just like grunts and like Bane from Batman and Robin kind of grunts.
Hmm.
But yeah. Speaking the Lear, I mean, you got a great actor like Tim Blake Nelson, right?
Hmm.
That's his name,
Yeah,
and
I love him.
it's I feel so bad for him because he pops up in these films. He was in Film Four Stick, but of course that was just
Oh, right.
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, you did.
Because I
uh,
haven't seen it, but I do remember that he played the Mole Man.
yeah. Well, you know what's weird? They changed his name to something else so that they didn't like set up the moment. Oh my god.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
um, he was good. I think he was a good choice for the leader. I
Yeah.
did geek out when his head started to grow. It was like,
Hmm.
oh my god, and then nothing, just
Yeah. I
nothing.
really hope that they bring him back at some point.
Yes.
And he's just been like planning something for the how many years in universe has it been?
Uh,
Like 12.
12 years. I mean, in movie screen because it's gonna
yeah,
be like 20 years or 25 years, right? Because we
no,
did the time jump because now we're in like 2023.
yeah, but the movie takes place in
I
2012, I thought, in like
yeah,
the official timeline, and then right now we're in 2024.
okay. I
Or probably 2025 by now because Hawkeye was
they
Christmas.
Yeah, hold on. Let me put up the MCU timeline because I think I remember it was before Iron Man 2 because Iron Man 2 had that footage of the like university attack.
Yeah, I thought they put Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Thor in the
Or
same week for some reason.
I
Uh,
I thought it was always 6 months. Like it was a 6 month. Like yeah, okay, here. I got the timeline right now. So
it
let
looks
me
like 2011.
weird. I, oh dear. 2011. Oh my God. There's so much they're playing this. Okay.
Yeah, so 14 years.
14 years. Okay. Okay. I'll believe that because I personally I didn't like that we had to make a big deal of the timeline, like because
Yeah.
in Iron Man 2 they say 6 months, which I don't know why they did that because like I just like
Well, I
just
think
say
yeah, it's
like
6 months after the first Iron Man.
yeah, I don't know. That part always confused me because it's like it doesn't line up or like I just don't believe that. It's just
Yeah, I
I
think they just weren't being as strict back then
no
about like
no
timeline stuff.
no. And I mean, and I guess the big part is like I yeah I mean especially with this film, like can you consider this film to be canonical? I mean, I
Yeah, I would say it is.
well yeah. I mean, you got the Ross coming back. So.
Yeah,
Anyway, that defeats my argument. I guess I like uh, oh man, the timeline. Oh God, yeah. So I, especially in MCU, like Vinny here. I mean, you got Liv Tyler, who's Betty Ross was kind of get into her performance, and
hmm
I think I remember I did like her in when we discussed briefly her in Annalise Hawk, and I still think she's great. I was very disappointed we didn't bring Betty back, and
hmm
I did like the Age of Ultron like Widow and Hulk thing because we didn't address
yeah,
the Ross at that point.
hmm
And now with her is gone, it's like, well, is there a point to bring Betty now? It's like I don't know, like
yeah.
I
I don't know. I feel like they're not gonna use Bruce Banner enough to like justify bringing Betty back. But
no, I I don't know, like I don't like when the MCU kind of deviate. Like I get you deviate from the comics, but like
mhm,
I don't like when we go too far with that. Like I don't like
yeah,
with Doctor Strange, like we're not doing Clea, and I'm hoping they're doing Clea in a very unique way. Like she's like a variant of Kristen Plummer.
mhm,
So, but we'll see when we see Doctor Strange too. But like,
yeah,
I just, I don't know. Like, I don't like that they're knowing Betty and like, cause like she's important in the comics, and I mean, and what I seen of her in the comics, you know.
hmm yeah,
So, what's your opinion on Liv Tyler as Betty Ross? She's good or she's vanilla for you?
yeah. She's all right. I think I preferred Jennifer Connelly actually, but
Yes. Okay. I agree because there like she had more to do and like and then also I
yeah, it was
enjoy
probably more a function of like the plot of the movie that they were in. But
yeah. Um yeah, I always have a like a soft spot for Liv Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's not like annoying like Mary J in the Sam Raimi films, or she wasn't like you question her role in the film like Jane in the Thor films. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was a very acceptable love interest. Like she was never like damsel distress type.
Mm-hmm.
Like I liked early in the MCU we didn't do those tropes. Um,
Yeah.
like the only time we did that was in like a very good way in Iron Man 3
Mm-hmm.
and Shane Black did it. Like it was part of his writing if you didn't know Shane Black as the writer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So but it was worse in Thor Dark World because she wasn't so stressed there and that was awful.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah. I did like Bear Ross and then I just wish we did more with that relationship. And it's always awkward that we didn't like it. I don't get why we never mentioned her in the films. I don't know why, but
Hmm.
I just feels weird. Um, yeah. And then what else will we have to mention in this movie? I is there anything else besides? I mean, because we mentioned the Doc Simon character. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about that? I mean, like it's just brief. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's very brief. Uh,
I, I
I
mean,
don't know. I liked that one part where he confronted General Ross.
yeah.
Um,
That was very good.
yeah,
Um,
that was really it though.
yeah. I mean, it was clearly they were setting up something if there was like a Hulk franchise, right?
Right.
Like,
But then there wasn't.
yeah, so bad, so
Yeah, a lot of
unfortunate.
threads that they just kind of abandoned after this movie.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Did you think the MCU kind of took notice and it's like, okay, we're not gonna leave breadcrumbs in our films because they knew they were not gonna get a sequel for the Hulk, right? So like we never get those kind of like cameos of like a character you knew from the comics, right? Like like example, like if Billy or Betty Ray Bill was
Hmm.
in the Thor films, like people are gonna complain that why he's not yet a character if we're seeing him in the films, right?
Hmm.
So like I was always wonder if this is the movie that kind of like made them be very careful of how to use Easter eggs, maybe. I don't know. Um
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like because they fully own the other franchises, they're more
mm, yeah.
willing to like they
They're
I
willing to
don't know.
put it in their franchise. Like um
Yeah, they like know for sure that they can make a sequel,
mm, that's
whereas
true.
it's hard to greenlight a Hulk sequel because Disney would lose so much money.
Well, Universal is gonna lose money if they're
Well, no,
when
I like Disney would lose it because they'd make the movie and then Universal would distribute it,
yeah.
which is
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Well, and speaking of Disney, I just wanted to also clear up. This is before the Disney buyout. Like, this is
yeah,
still, Marvel Studios being independent studio.
yeah.
So this was a lot of risk for them.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and I guess we're gonna get into like, um, I mean, it's not like new, but like every movie has like a studio like what was the word studio interference and production problems.
Hmm.
And I mean we've seen this with the new Star Wars films and DC films, and I mean Marvel has a little bit, the MCU, but like they keep it very quiet. And I mean at the time I didn't know there was a lot of wrong with this film. um Obviously Edward Norton, he's a great actor, but apparently he's very difficult. And
Yeah.
I, I never imagined or like hear a actor like rewrite the whole screenplay for a
Hmm.
film. Now he did that with American History X. I heard like he had to re-edit the film and yada yada yada. Like so he's that type of actor of very.
Yeah, he needs to like be in control of the project.
Exactly, and this is the many reasons why he didn't came back, unfortunately. Because Marvel wants, like, I think the person I listened to the podcast mentioned Marvel wants a person that works together as a team, and I don't think Edward Norton is a team player, and so that's why he wasn't there at the 2010 like Avengers gather that we had in Comic-Con in 2010. So because that was we got the announcement of Mark Ruffalo and Hawkeye, and so I think this was the one moment where Marvel Studios realized, okay, we're not going to cast a person that's not going to be a team player. So that's what happened, and then you got also the distribution. You've been bringing up Universal, like, I mean, so many years people have been asking why we never get a Hulk film, and it's because Universal still owns the film rights because of the deal. Because I think they made the TV show, so just like how the Fox had the Batman rights TV show from the Anna West, like that's why Gotham was at Fox.
Okay.
So like that's the reason we got that, and then that's how the Blu-ray of the 60s show happened, because there's just had to be a lot of deals to get that out of the public, and so I mean, yes, Universal can first off, Marvel can still use the Hulk, but like they cannot make solo films because Universal have those rights. And then two, financially, Universal is not going to make another Hulk film because these films have not performed as expected as compared to other films. I mean, this film did better in terms of outperforming the Ang Lee Hulk, but not mile margin. Like it's still the lowest grossing MCU film. Like it only made $263 million, which is okay. 264.8 billion, which is okay, but not for a big budget like this had. And then just
it didn't make up the budget and marketing costs for sure.
Yeah. And speaking of marketing, I mean, like I think you can look back, it was very quiet compared to the Iron Man film. Like Iron Man, like I knew Iron Man was coming out. Like when the teaser came out in 2007 Comic-Con, like Iron Man was ahead of every film. Like everyone was talking about Iron Man. Where this was just a quiet, like, just release for the Incredible Hulk, and like like your main star didn't promote the film in US side, like he just didn't support the film, and so this film was already like DOE from the beginning. So but yeah, that's the Incredible Hulk. Oh, and you got the mid-credit scene. I want you to know, like, this is where I knew there was something going to be big in the MCU. Like, this is the movie that got me attention with the Marvel shared universe. With Tony coming in and talking to Ross. Like, what do you think about that mid-credit scene that we got?
Yeah. I mean, it was the first crossover in the MCU.
Yep.
So that was exciting.
Yeah.
I don't think they were really thinking ahead of like what that scene was setting up, because they had to have that really convoluted one shot later to explain what was happening and why Tony was there. And then in the Avengers, he's like not part of the team. But
yes, what
yeah,
was it? It was called the Consultant, right?
right. And they had a retcon that they sent him there to uh, anger General Ross, so he wouldn't suggest Blonsky as a member of the Avengers.
Yes, it's so funny because like I I mean, first off, like how did Tony anger him like in that scene? Like it's just so funny to think of that.
Yeah.
um yeah, you mentioned first crossover. I guess it is first crossover because you're seeing
It's the second movie, so it's the first opportunity.
yeah. Yeah, and then I mean they were hoping to cross over the Avengers. That was always the plan
Mm-hmm.
if these were successful, which they were. I mean, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
It was just the Incredible Hulk wasn't successful, which was fine. It's just one
Yeah.
film. Um, yeah, and then it was kind of intriguing. I mean, because it was directly from the comics. I mean, like the Avengers did fall off the Hulk in the first issue. Um, I mean, that could have been an interesting film, seeing first the Avengers, after the Hulk, but that wasn't the film we got. And I think it was for the best. I think, because like, why you want to see another film where the Hulk gets attacked and you know, by military people, or see him versus the other heroes could have been interesting, but I don't think. I mean, I didn't want another series, Hulk. I just wanted like a fun comic book Hulk character,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, but every post credit scene in Phase One was so kind of retcon, like the first Thor post credit scene with Loki controlling Eric Savick, like that was retcon after the Avengers. Like,
Was it?
I mean, well, yes, because in that post scene, it seemed like Loki was controlling Eric Savick. But because at the time he didn't have the Mind Stone, the scepter
Mm-hmm.
you see in the Avengers, like he didn't have that in that post credit scene.
Well, it could have just been like an interpretation of what the mind control looked like.
I I get.
That's what I always took it as.
Oh, really? I thought for the longest time before I paid attention to the continuity, I thought he had mind control abilities. I you know
Yeah.
like Wanda's powers, but like it wasn't that. It's but anyway, I mean, when we get to the Avengers, like when we discuss the post credit scene, but we'll see. But yeah, so the Incredible Hulk, everyone. Sad week. We lost an actor, pass away. And I think this is the second MCU actor pass away, right? Like, um, besides Chadwick Boseman, I will say, because I'm blanking on who else passed away during the MCU run.
I mean, there have been others, but I think as far as like prominent roles go,
Yeah,
that might be right.
yeah. This explains why he wasn't too much in Black Widow.
Yeah.
So whenever we discuss that film, like now it kind of makes sense because that line that Natasha says about like was it bypass operation?
Yeah, he'd had a heart attack in one of the movies.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean Civil War mentioned that.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned again in Black Widow. So, but yeah, I mean, I still enjoy the Incredible Hulk, but it's a very forgettable experience overall. So, which is kind of sad. So, yeah. Okay.